Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. Today we have kind of a more relaxing video. We're just gonna be going over my fall night routine. So we have a couple of things that we're gonna do. I have to get ready for bed. We're gonna make some tea. We're gonna make some dinner. And then I'm also going to tell you about the book I just finished today. And we're also going to do some reading before bed and just like getting ready for tomorrow and just going through it together. This is not what my night routine looks like every night. But if I could have an ideal fall night, this is probably what it would be. And it's like the perfect fall weather because yesterday, today, and tomorrow are all like rainy days, and yesterday was so perfect because I was just sitting in bed in my PJs reading my book, and it was like the most perfect weather, and it was rainy outside, and it was like kind of dark but not like really too dark, so it's perfect. So it's really early in like the evening, but it's 5, I think. Alexa, what time is it? Okay, it's 5:07 p.m. And I usually don't get home until like 5:30. My sister's out and my mom is still at work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually gonna go make dinner. I'm also trying to read my Bible more. I was a couple weeks ago like reading it every morning and occasionally every night, and I've really been slacking and just struggling in my faith. I am going to church every Sunday, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I am going to church every Sunday, and I am praying, just not as often as I would like. But yeah, so let's get started and let's start our night together. And first things first is making dinner. What we're having tonight is like sausage tacos. I don't really know. I don't really feel like cooking. And yeah, so that's the plan. It's going to be very plain tacos though because I don't feel like cutting anything up. So I have guac already made and we have tortillas, and I'm just going to put some kielbasa in the oven and then just let it cook while I'm doing other things, and probably gonna shower while it's in the oven. So, also, shout out to Sarah Caroli. I'm watching her in the background. You can't see, but I'm watching her doing book stuff video. I rant. Not really rant, but talk. I have been loving Haley Pham, Sarah Caroli. I think that's how you say your last name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. And Just Allie. I also just like discovered her channel, and I have always hated reading, and I just started getting into it, and I'm trying to like find hobbies. My sister, on the other hand, loves reading, and she's a lot younger than me, but we have different genres that we like. So I just love reading their stuff I love watching their videos because it gives me more like a fun side of reading instead of what I was used to when I was younger, which is like a mandatory and very strict side of reading. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know, but yes, I'm gonna go put some dinner in the oven, and then I will be back. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 5:25 p.m.
Okay, it's 5:25 p.m. and I'm back in my room, and I just finished putting dinner in the oven. So while it's in there, I'm going to go take a shower. I am not sure if I'm gonna wash my hair. This hair is very difficult to deal with when it's curly, but I don't want to slick it back every day, but I don't have the energy to do the whole curly hair routine, especially when I work in the industry that I work in, that it's like very it's dirty, there's dust everywhere, it's just like not ideal. So I think I'm gonna wash my hair, shower really quick, and then I'll come back and I will do my hair routine, put on my PJs, and we can go from there. So yeah, usually I either listen to a YouTube video or an audiobook or music or a Netflix show. I'm home alone and I just don't like silence, like complete silence. So I usually like to put on something that either I can listen to. Actually, that's pretty much it. I put on something I can listen to. So I think today I might put on more of either Sarah Crowley's YouTube video that I was just watching, or maybe one of Haley Pham's. I'm just really into the reading vibe recently, past few days. So I think that's what I'm going to listen to while I'm showering, and I will be back once I'm done. I finished taking a shower. I did end up washing my hair. Penelope is home from Secret Things. Now I'm going to be doing my hair, and I think I'm just going to braid it because I can't do anything. Yes, and while I'm doing my hair, I can talk about how getting more into my faith actually made me not read the same books that I was reading before. So before I started like really reading my Bible and like going to church often, and even after I started going to church every Sunday and like really getting into my faith, before all of that I was reading very romantic books, let's say, and it was kind of the only genre that I would read. And if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, like to each their own. But after praying and reading my Bible more and just getting more into my faith, I just decided that reading those types of books was not the best for me. And that's okay, because now I get to branch out to other genres and find out what else I like. So but my reading journey since I got rid of those books has been reading more like thriller, mystery books, and I actually got rid of all of like my Colleen Hoover books and Penelope Douglas and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy. But I've been actually enjoying books more, I'd say, or enjoying like the plot more instead of just reading romance, if you will. And I realized that I actually don't even like romance books, like rom-coms, like what's the Friday McFarlane, I think that's her name. Like her, or like what is the other? Oh, Emily Henry. Like those types of books that are very like light rom-com type of books. I just can't get into it. So I just realized that I didn't really like the romance. I just liked the romance, if you know what I mean. So I am trying to get into some fantasy. Penelope loves reading fantasy books, but I've never really read any fantasy books, like started or finished any fantasy books, and I am excited to get into it because so far the books that I've been reading have been books that I know I enjoy. I've always enjoyed like mystery books and yeah, but now it's getting more into like thriller, like mystery thrillers, like trying to find out who killed this person or like something with murder involved, which is something I know I like because of the shows that I watch, like NCIS and Criminal Minds and FBI, what's the other one? Oh, like Taken, like all of that, or Tracker, sorry, not Taken. Those shows I really do enjoy. So this is just something that I'm like comfortable with. The only issue that I've been finding is there's different, not issue, but the only thing I've struggled with is that there's like different levels of mystery and thriller, and I feel like for me, if it gets to a point where it's like horror, I don't like it. But I do like suspense, like extreme suspense. Like if I'm not extremely interested in the book, I won't read it. Even if like I know that the plot will be good in the future, I have to, it has to be like intense. But hopefully that'll change, and I'm just trying to keep an open mind to all the other book genres. And it's also been fun because my mom, my coworker, and I, obviously we all work together, and it's very fun because I started reading The Perfect Marriage, and then I told my mom about it, and she started listening to the audiobook, and then my coworker, who's also my friend, he also started listening to the audiobook, and then he liked it, and then I got Home is Where the Bodies Are, also by Geneva Rose, and my mom finished the audiobook first. Actually, no. I finished the book, and then my mom got the audiobook and she finished it, and then my coworker got the audiobook and finished it, and then I just finished my third book, and now we're all just, it's just like a mini book club kind of, and we all just kind of read at our own pace, and then when everybody's done, we kind of just talk about it. So I'm really excited to see what we're gonna read next. And yeah, this is my hair. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, before I start reading my next book, my next book, I just finished this book today. It's called Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. It has 100 chapters exactly, and I was reading it for a good bit. I think last night I got until like halfway through the book, and then actually a while ago, like a week or two, I have no sense of time, so I don't know, a little bit ago, I only got like 19 chapters in, and then last night I got halfway through, and then earlier today I heard a good chunk on Spotify, like the audiobook, and then I got home and I finished the last like 3 chapters, I think. On Fable, I gave it like a 3.75, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's more like a 3.25 to 3.5. I don't know. When I was reading it, it was pretty good, but I think looking back at it, I don't know, it's just not like life-changing. It's nothing like crazy. I don't know, I kind of wanted to see how the relationships changed after. I kind of wanted to see how the relationships developed after the fact, and it was kind of just like, and everyone just did this, and that's the end. Which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't need to know what happened like years later, but I kind of wanted interaction or like something, and there wasn't really that. The chapters were really short, like really short. On Spotify, when I was listening to the audiobook, the chapters are only like 4 to 7 minutes long. Like, that's it. And they're only a few pages. I did think it was really cool that they have QR codes on the end of some of the chapters. They don't have like a lot, but it's on very random chapters. They'll have a QR code and you scan it, and it's like a video of what happened in that past chapter. It's very weird, but it's kind of cool, I guess. It's just very inconsistent. It's just on some chapters but not on the others. I mean, I don't expect them to do it on every chapter, but I just don't know the significance of why they put it there on those specific chapters, so that was a little weird. He was very descriptive in the way of like expressing the character's emotions, or like what the character was doing, like its actions, or the person's actions were very specific, very detailed. but I couldn't like put myself in the setting. It was not very detailed. It was kind of like they're here and that was kind of it. It's just like it said there was like some forest and they're like in this house in one of the chapters, but like there's no detail. There's no like I can't put myself in the setting. So that was not that great, and they were moving around a lot. There's something else that I was about to say. They do change, not really point of views, but like one chapter is one day, and then the other chapter is on like Halloween, and then the other chapter is on another day, like leading up. It's like all leading up to Halloween, and then they kind of just like merge into one, and then the rest of the book is just one day. I don't think I'm a huge fan of that. I have read not a lot, but I've read a few books that are like different perspectives and like different POVs of like different characters or different chapters. But I don't think I'm a huge fan of like the time. And it's not really like years, it's more of like days. It's all in the same month. So it's nothing like crazy, but I don't really like how we're like flip-flopping. Because in the beginning, when you don't really understand, like this book is in 3 different parts, I believe. And in part 1, it's very confusing, at least it was for me, of like how everything tied in together. I actually didn't understand what the difference was between like Halloween, which is like the main event, let's say, or like the main day of when everything happened, and then like every day leading up to it. It was just very confusing to like get a grip of like, oh, this is what's going on and this is why. And I think it took me until like a third of the way into the book to finally realize like, oh, that's why he's saying this, or like that's why he's acting this way, like that's why this and this. And I also like mystery books or like thriller books that kind of leave clues like every now and then, so you can like, it almost like makes your brain work. Like you have to like use your brain in order to be like, oh wait, but maybe this means this, and then something else happens and then there's another clue and you're like, wait, but then those two don't add up, so like it has to be this. So like I like creating my own theories and like almost like working on the quote-unquote case myself. And this is very like, the actions itself were like shocking, but the plot line itself throughout the book wasn't really. And it was kind of like at the end they're like, oh, that's crazy, and then like that's it. So I wouldn't say it's a slow burn. Like what happens throughout the book is definitely like some suspense, because there's like stalking and that type of thing, but nothing that's like making me think of like, oh, who could it be, or like, oh, is he helping, or oh, why did he go here, or like why did he do this. It's kind of just like what they're doing is very like shocking in like a human sense, like as it would be for like if anybody did that action. So I don't know if that makes sense, but overall it's not a bad book. I don't know if I'd recommend the book, but yeah, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. But I did look for this book. I found this book at Barnes & Nobles and I read the summary and I was like, oh my gosh, this book looks so good. And I spent like over a month contemplating on whether or not to buy it. And then Zach bought it for me. And it is something that like I did keep turning the page because I wanted to get to the end to like figure out like why is this happening? Like what is going on, or like what happens to this character. But yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend it. I'm not sure. But it wasn't horrible. So that's that on that book. And instead of starting a new book, because the rest of the quote-unquote book club is not finished reading that book, I'm actually going to pick up a book that I stopped reading a while ago, and I really want to finish because I've heard really good things about it, and I just want to start reading that type of book, and if I like it, I want to finish the series, or continue in the series and finish it. Okay. This is the book that I'm like almost halfway through. Maybe I'll have to look back at our video. But I never realized how big this book was until I was looking at other books. I don't know. But like picking it back up, this book is freaking huge. But yeah, I'm on page 204. And I really like this. And I don't know, when people like something a little too much, it draws me away from it. But I don't know, I'm just not hearing as much about the hype. So I'm like, maybe now I can read it. But Penelope did just tell me that Haley fan mentioned that it does have spice scenes. And as far as I remember, there are none from what I've read so far. But I'll be cautious of it. Yeah, if there are any, I'll just skip over it because I don't want to read that. So, yeah, I get reminded of the fact that I didn't finish this every time I walk into Barnes & Nobles and I see an entire section dedicated to this series. And I'm like, oh, if I finish this series, like I want to be a part of those people that loved this book. So I want to love this book. This is a fantasy, right, Penelope? Yes. Oh. Romantic or fantasy? Yes, this is a fantasy. And this is the first fantasy book that I've ever read. I don't know if it's a great starter book. I don't know. The only other fantasy book I have is The Throne of Glass, and I think that's by Sarah J. Maas. I think. But okay, the top of this book literally says sexy and sizzling. Prepare to be fully spellbound by this epic fantasy. Okay, well, I'm dedicated to finish this book because I started it and I am not hard on myself, but I don't like when they're just sitting on the shelf and they're staring at me and just constantly reminded about the fact that I didn't finish it. So I'm going to read some of this and then eat dinner and then make some tea and read some more. The only way I'll put this book down and I won't finish it is if it gets to a point of spice that's like insane. Like I can't get a few pages without something going on. So let's read. And I have my water bottle and I'm just going to put some fall fantasy background music noise thing on YouTube and then just read, because that's what I did last night and I read for like 2 hours. Okay, so it's currently, what time is it called? 7, 8? It's currently 8 o'clock and I made tea, we ate dinner, you know, all of that, but I just can't get into reading Fourth Wing. Maybe I'll put it back on my shelf and then go back to it later. Excuse me, but I just can't get into it. So I got only a few pages into it. I literally only got like 8 pages in, but I just can't read it anymore. So Penelope and I are just gonna watch some YouTube videos for the rest of the night and then probably go to sleep. So that's like kind of my ideal night routine. Yeah, I mean, reading, having dinner with my mom and my sister, making some tea, just laying down, just relaxing, is really just an ideal time for me. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was pretty short. I love you so much. Jesus loves you so much. I see you in the next video. Bye.